This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, Agun Rav Shabbos Rabbi says we prepare for Parshas Vayeira. We have unbelievable information this afternoon. In the end of Parshas Lech Lecha, after the Rebbeinu Shalom tells Avraham Avinu about the mitzvah of Bris Milah, so the pasuk says in Lech Lecha, Parak Yud Zayin, pasuk Chaf Beis, Vayechal edaber itay vayal Elokim eyal Avraham. Says Rashi, and it's number 15 on your sheets. Yes, number 15. I don't know, you have to keep on your toes over here. Number 15, Lashon Nikiyahu. What do you mean he went up from upon Abraham? Lashon Nikiyahu klape Shechina. V'lamadnu, we learn from here, Shahat Tzadikim, Merkavtoi Shalmakoim, that Tzadikim are the chariot of God. That what is God's chariot? What does God rest on? What is His mode of transportation? Where does Hashem live? The Rebbeinu Shalom lives. Rebbeinu Shalom lives on the tzaddikim. Vayal Elokim meyal Avraham. Lamadnu shatzadikim merkavto shamag, which is very interesting in terms of why the Torah chose this location to say and to teach that tzaddikim are the merkava of the Shechina. Why is the Torah telling me this now? Certainly it's true, but why this juncture? Avraham was mentioned before in the beginning of Lech Lecha. Avraham will be mentioned again. Yitzchak will be mentioned again. Yaakov is mentioned. Moshe is mentioned. Why specifically at this juncture does the Torah teach us that tzaddikim are the merkava of the Shechina? We have an incredible phenomenon about the Torah Shabbat Peh, about the oral law. And that is that aside from the fact that Talmud Torah is the greatest mitzvah, and certainly the meat and potatoes of the Torah, the Gemara, is the highest level of learning, but the word Gemara has special significance. And it's brought in the Sefer HaChaim. Sefer HaChaim is in the chapter Sefer Zechuyos, written by Rabbeinu Chaim, the brother of the Maharal Prague. So Rabbeinu Chaim ben Betzalel. He says, "V'chein ha-Torah sheba'al peh hu ha-magina al Yisrael." It's the oral law that protects Chal Yisrael. Ulekach nikres Gemara. That's why it's called Gemara. Why? Shehu Rashi Tevois Shel Gavriel, Michael, Raphael, Uriel. That Gemara is a Rashi Tevois. That Gemara is Rashi Tevois, the four main malachim: Gavriel, Michael, Raphael, Uriel. Loimar, to teach you. Ki ha'isik ba'Gemara, one who is involved in Gemara, choyne malach Hashem saviv loy lahatziloi. The angel of God encamps around you to save you. Miminoi Michael, u'mismaloi Gavriel, u'milfanav Uriel, u'me'achorav Raphael. On your right side, Michael. On your left side, Gavriel. In front of you, Uriel. Behind you, Raphael. V'yal roishoi, v'yal roishoi. Shchinas kel, haboicher b'divrei chacham. That is what the Sefer HaChaim says. So when you learn Gemara, you are protected by malachim. People think to be protected, you have to get kameos and skulos and say these different things and read different things from parchments. No. The main shmira is Bava Kama, Bava Metzia, Bava Basra, Beah. The main shmira in life is learning Gemara. In fact, there's a sefer also written by Rabbeinu Chaim, the brother of the Maharal Prague. He writes in the Sefer Igeras Hatil, Gemara is Noitrikain Gavriel, Michael, Raphael, Uriel, Magid Shekomi Sha'isik B'Gemara, Hine Malachi Hashem Savivloi, L'Shamroi Mikora, Miminoi Michael, U'Mismailoi Gavriel, in front of Uriel, Michael, Raphael. So, no, it doesn't say if you carry a Gemara it protects you. Carrying the Gemara doesn't help you. Learning the Gemara protects you. People say, I once said, the Rambam, of course the Rambam, I have it at home. It's not a shkoyach, you have it at home. Anyway, so a couple years ago, I was trying to get a hold of this comment of the Sefer HaChaim, because I knew it was quoted in the Chassam Sofer, and I have a lot of Chassam Sofers at home. I have Chassam Sofer al Torah, and I have the first edition, and I have the third edition, but I didn't have the fourth edition. So I went to Gift World, it wasn't there. And I went to Safra, it wasn't there. And I went to Landers, it wasn't there. And I went to Archaim, and it wasn't there. And I went back to Gift World, and it was there. Because the Chsam Sofer, the two Chsam Sofers ala Torah. There's Chsam Sofer ala Torah, 5 volumes, and there's Torah's Moshe, 2 volumes. And I didn't realize they recently reproduced Torah's Moshe, 5 volumes, and that has in it Madura Rishayna, Madura Shniya, Madura Tlisai, Madura Rivai. And in this edition of the Torah's Moshe, which costs $70, it says, look at number 3, Vayelchu acharei hahebel vayebalu. He brings a principle from his Rebbe, the Hafla. And he brings the concept that when a person is oisek in Torah, it purifies your nefesh, and it brings you closer to Hashem. And he brings the following idea, that the same way when you learn Torah and you learn Gemara, then all the authors of the Torah, when you learn, let's say, Mishnayos, Rabbi Akiva, Rav Tarfon, Rav Gamliel, Rav Meir, Rabbi Lezer, Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel, these individuals, they protect you, they guard over you. In fact, there's a Chsam Sofer in Parshas Vaschanan, V'shamata Yisrael v'shamarta lasois. V'shamata Yisrael v'shamarta lasois, Chsam Sofer teaches, V'shamata Yisrael, when you hear the names of holy Yidden, V'shamata Yisrael v'shamarta lasois, you'll be more careful to observe the Torah. That's why there's a Sefer called Sifsei Yeshenim, which is basically predated the Shem Hagdolim of the Chidah. Sifsei Yeshenim was written by Reb Shapsi Bass. Actually, one time I mentioned the Sefer, so my friend Gedalia Schwartz in Norfolk, Virginia, he actually got me a copy of it. I have it at home, so I thank him for it. It's the Sifsei Chachamim wrote a bibliography of all the names of all the Sfarim ever written before his time. And he writes, what's the purpose of just like a book that says the names of all the Sfarim and the names of the Gedolim? Okay, I understand if you learn, it's mashpia on you l'taiva. But what's the benefit of just saying names of Gedolim and knowing names of Sfarim? And he says just the name of the Sefer and the name of the Gadol, just speaking about it influences you to do good. But on the contrary, a person says, okay, I'm not speaking Lashon Hara, I'm not speaking Leitzano Sheker, I'm just talking sports, I'm talking, I'm talking Jeter, Jordan, even though these players are mamish, they're over bottle already, right? What's the big deal? I don't know what's going on in their personal life. I'm just saying their name. I'm just saying it for illustration. Maybe I shouldn't even say it. But the same way when you say the name of a tzaddik, it's mashpia on you l'toiva. When you say a name of these, one of these lowlives, thank you, so it's also mashpia on a person. So basically the hafla teaches the pasuk. Vayilchu acharei hahevel vayebolu. That when a person goes and reads Sfarim, books that mention the names of people who are not worthwhile, that also has an effect on you. You see, everything has an effect on a person. You learn Torah, you learn about Tanoim, Amoraim, Gedolim, just say their names, it affects you for good. You read other things, and you read about these people and the way they live, it also affects you. But bottom line is, the Chsam Sofer... What?
Then you should never read a newspaper.
Kalecha l'fi madrigasai. Whatever you do, just be aware. Whatever a person does affects you. Okay. That's not the topic today. But the Chsam Sofer quotes his Rebbe the Hafla, who quotes the Sefer HaChaim of the brother Maral of Prague, who says that when a person learns Gemara, then you are accompanied by Gavriel, Michael, Rafal, Uriel. So I want to bring to your attention that in the Sefer Divrei Torah, which is, good name to have if you're writing a Sefer about Divrei Torah, the Divrei Torah is written by the Munkacher, the Minchas Elazar, and in Chelek Aleph, Ois Yotes, he says there's a tradition from our Zayda, Hagoin HaKadosh Mahartza, Mem Hei Reish Sadi Aleph, Marenu Arav Tzvi, Elimelech, Midinov, the Bnei Yissaschar, that you should try to learn Gemara every morning before davening. Why? Because when you daven, you want your tefillos to go up to Shamayim. And who brings the tefillos up? The Malachei Ashores. So what better way to facilitate the ascent of your tefillah, then first you learn a shtickle Gemara. You're encircled by Gavriel, Michal, Raphael, Uriel, and then they're able to bring up the Gemara. Again, I'm not here to tell you that you should have to learn Gemara before Shachar. It's always a great idea. Point being that this is a very well documented idea that Gemara is Rashi Tevois, Gavriel, Michal, Raphael, Uriel. Not only is it Rashi Tevois that, but when a person learns Gemara, these Malachi Asharis come to protect you. By the way, what is the source that there are 4 Malachim? I mean, there are hundreds of Malachim, thousands of Malachim, millions of Malachim. Like, what's the makar of these 4 Malachim? It comes from the Pirkei Rabbi Elazar, Parak Dalet. Pirkei Rabbi Elazar says, Arba Kito Shel Malachi Asharis Mekalsim Lefnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There are 4 groups of angels that praise Hashem. Machane Rishona is Michael on the right side. He's like, it's not him only, it's his group. And the second group is Gavriel on the left side. Probably, by the way, Michael is Malach of Rachamim. That's why he's on the Tzad Yamin. Gavriel is Malach of Din. That's why he's on the Tzad Small. By the way, the Gemara in Bracha says, very interesting Gemara, Gavriel ba'achas, Michael ba'achas, Gavriel b'shtayim, Eliyahu ba'arba, Malach HaMaves b'shmayna. Know that Gemara? Michael ba'achas, Gavriel b'shtayim, Eliyahu ba'arba, Malach HaMaves b'shmayna. Meaning, Michael carries out his mission ba'achas, in one swoop. Since he's a Malach of Rachamim, the Rebbe Shalom doesn't let him stop in middle, because maybe he'll reconsider. Gavriel is Malach of Din. He does it in 2 swoops. The Rebbe Shalom gives him one opportunity to be Nimlach, to change his mind. Eliyahu ba'arba. By the way, Eliyahu ba'arba, there are many secrets. What does it mean, Eliyahu ba'arba? One is, when Eliyahu was Machai Mesim, it says, Vayimoyed 4 times. Another meaning is, who's Eliyahu? Pinchas. What's the gematria of Pinchas? 208. What's the gematria of Eliyahu? 52. Eliyahu ba'arba. 52 times 4 is Pinchas. And Malach HaMaves b'shmoina, meaning the Malach HaMaves carries out his mission in 8 swoops. How many stops in 8 swoops? 7. That's why by Kfura you stop 7 times, because Malach HaMaves, there's 7 stops. That's what the Marsha says there. But bottom line is, the Michal, so Michal is Rachamim on the right side, Gavriel on the left side, Uriel in front of you, Raphael behind you, V'shchina be'emtza, V'hu yoshev al kisei ram v'nisa. God sits on his throne. So then we can make the case, what's the chariot of God? The 4 Malachim. Michal on the right side, and Gabriel on the left side, and Uriel in front of you, and Raphael behind you, and Lamala is God. But you need to have the 4 Malachim first, and then that's the chariot, and God is on top. By the way, the Zohar HaKadosh says the same thing. Michael in Parshas Bamidbar, in the old print, it's Daf Kuf Yud Ches Amud Beis. So if you have the old print, and you want to know what it is, in the old print, it's Daf Kuf Yud Ches Amud Beis.
Don't we see the opposite of the opposite?
So we're going to see. Michael Mimina, Gavriel Mismaila, Uriel Lekadmayu, Raphael Acharayu, Shchinta Alayu. And this is what we say in Kriya Shema Lamita. B'Shem Hashem Lekei Yisrael. Mimini Michal, Masal Gavriel, Mfani Uriel, Mfani Rav, Aroishi Shchinaska. So I wanted to say the following idea, just as an aside. It's brought down in the Tosfos Yom Tov and in the Kol Ramaz of Rav Moshe Zakuta in the Sefer Shoshan LeDavid. Various reasons. What do you call a volume of Gemara? Masechta. What does Masechta mean? I don't know. I never thought about it. What does Masechta mean? So the Noda B'Yehuda says that they explain it's a lashon of Mesech. Why do I believe it's a lashon of Mesech? Because of the paroiches. What's the paroiches? It's paroiches hamesech. It says v'sakoisa ala orain. Basically, what's the purpose of the paroiches? It protects the orain. What's in the orain? The luchais. So the same way the paroiches protects the Torah Shebachsav, so too the Gemara protects Torah Shebachsav. The Torah Shebal Peh protects the Torah Shebachsav, that you don't make a mistake. Because basically, if you just had Torah Shebachsav, a person could abuse the Torah Shebachsav. It says, Yom Trua Yelachem. It should be a day of blowing. So how do you celebrate a day of blowing? I don't know, I pull in my BMW into the synagogue and I blow. Maybe you should honk my horn. Right? And it says you should have phylacteries between your eyes. So, what does that mean? And and it says Mimachar Sashabas. So without the Torah Sheba'al Peh to protect the Torah Shebachsav, you could learn explanations which are inaccurate. But says another pshat is the same way. There is no other alternative way to enter the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Right? There's only one way to get to the Kodesh HaKadoshim. And what's that? The Parshas. So too, if you want to be Makabel, the Pnei HaShechina, La'achar 120 Shana, it's only by learning Gemara. Interesting. But Rabbi say, I want to say another pshat. The Noda B'Yehuda says Masechta comes from a lashon of Mesech. What is the protection? What does the Masechta protect? Torah Shebachsav. Based on what we learned, we can learn another pshat. You know what the Masechta protects? You. Masechta protects you. Why? Because when you learn Gemara, you have Gavriel, Michael, Raphael, Uriel. So it is a lashon of Mesech. It doesn't just protect the Torah Shebachsav, it protects you as well. And you're thinking, Rabbi, what does this have to do with Parshas Vayeira? I know you're thinking that, but I'm going to answer. Just hold on to your horses. There's a pasuk in Shiurim. Amudav asachesef rifidasa izahav merkavay agaman taychay ratzuf ahava mi benais Yerushalayim. It says your pillars are made out of silver. Rafidasai Zahav Merkavai. What's the Merkavai? Your chariot. Argaman. Yeah! Who's the chariot of God? Michael, Raphael, Gavriel, Uriel. Argaman. Exactly. What's the chariot of God? Gavriel, Michael, Raphael, Uriel. That's what God's chariot is. Gemara. Argaman. Everyone, people are up now, or what's the problem? None. So comes the Megal Amukos, and the Megal Amukos is the one who says that this is the side of the pasuk. Merkavoy Argaman, your chariot is Argaman, because the chariot of God are the four Malachei Asharis. Gavriel, Michael, Raphael, Uriel. What's the nun doing here? Let me tell you a secret, says Megal Mukos. There's another malach. His name is Nuriel. And Uriel are the same guy. If it's Midas HaChesed, he's Uriel, and if it's Midas HaDin, it's Nuriel. So that's Merkavai Argaman. It's really, there's a fifth malach, Uriel and Nuriel, they go hand in hand. And that's the secret of the three men that came to Avram Avinu when Hashem said, Anochi Magen Lach. Who's Anochi Magen Lach? Michael, Gavriel, Uriel. By the way, the Gemara says in Bava Metzia, listen very carefully, we're almost there. Who are these three men that came to Avram Avinu? Michael, Gavriel, and Raphael. Michael came to be Mavasar Sarah. Raphael came to heal Abraham. Gavriel went to destroy Sodom. It says two guys came to Sodom. Michael went with him to save Lot. And ultimately it says, Vayahafoich, not Vayehavcho. So, Marav Rabbi say, the obvious question is as follows. How many people came to Abraham? 3. Who are they? Michael, Gavriel, Raphael. Wait a second. You know, something missing over here. Somebody forgot to come that day. You know, when there are a lot of people who are supposed to come and one guy doesn't show up, it's not so recognizable. But if there are only 4 malachim, and one of them is a no-show, he's conspicuously absent. And you know, these malachim, they usually hang out together. They're Gemara. Gavriel, Michael, Uriel. What happened to Uriel? Why did he take the day off? What, he had a...
Yeah, Avram just didn't see him.
No, interesting. In the Sefer Likutei Ma'amarim, Shvilei Pinchas, or Pinchas Friedman, it happens to be that he's in America right now, and I happened to speak to him this week, and he actually told me over his mimer from this week, and then he's coming to our shul on Sunday. So I want to take this opportunity to invite everybody to hear one of really the great Magidim of this generation. If you never heard him speak, it's Mamash Chaval. Sunday morning you could hear him 9:30 in our shul, 20 minutes away. You must come. I'm telling you, you have to come. You don't want to miss the opportunity. We've learned from him over the years many, many, many amazing items. So this is his kasha. He wants to know that why did Uriel not show up that day when the other Malachi Ashares came? So he refers us to the Sefer Shachal HaTorah. The Shachal HaTorah was one of the Gurei Ho'arizal, and the Shachal HaTorah says a davar nifla, and he happens to say that what's the gematria of Uriel? So the Reish we know is 200, and the Lamed is 30, and the Yud is 10. That already gets up to 240, plus the two Vavs, 252. And the Aleph is 253.
There's 2 hours.
And there are 2 Alephs, that's 254. So let's try that again. The Aleph and the Vav is 7, 207, 217, 218, 248. I tricked you, it's 248. Right? Uriel is 248, perfectly, right? The Reish, the Yud, and the Lamed is 240, and the 2 Alephs is 2, and the Vav, 248. What's the gematria of Abraham? 248. Wait a second. Half of a fella. It comes out like this. What was Abraham's name beforehand? Avram. That means beforehand he is 243. Comes Rebbeinu Shalom to Abraham. Now that you're Abraham, you're graduated. You're promoted. Now you have elevated yourself. You fulfill the role of Uriel. So you fulfill the role of Uriel. Mamela, Uriel doesn't have to come visit you because you do his job. In other words, until then Abraham was only 243. Uriel is 248. Abraham Avinu can't do Uriel's job. So the other chevra got to come, Gabriel, Michal, Rafa. But now that Abraham's 248, so now he doesn't need Uriel. And now the Gemara is Gabriel, Michal, Raphael, Abraham. Now you're asking questions that I can't answer. But whatever job Uriel was supposed to do, and we'll see what that is, Avram Avinu fulfilled the job. Now, let me just tell you one secret here. And that is, let's ask ourselves a question. In life, everything's about real estate. So Michal, he has a pretty good spot. He's on the right side, Gabriel's on the left side. Raphael's all the way, center field, deep center field. Why does Uriel go in front of Hashem? That's a pretty impressive spot to get. That's a nice slot. Why is he so chashuv that he goes umilfan of Uriel? Why does he get such a chashuv slot? Now, it happened to be that I told you that story, and then when I went to Orach Chaim to try to find the Chassam Sofer, I didn't find the Chassam Sofer, but I found another Sefer. And that is the Imrei Noyam of Jacob. And he says, Devarim Noiraim over here. What was Abraham's name? Abraham's name was? Avram. That's 243. Spell out 243 in Hebrew. Reish, Mem, Gimel. Raphael, Michael, Gabriel. So that means Abraham used to be only 3. He didn't have Uriel. He was only Ramag. Raphael, Michael, Gabriel. But now that he got the 5 extra letters, now he fulfilled Uriel, and now he got the level of Uriel. So Hashem says, now that you're 248 and Uriel is 248, we don't need you here. So Uriel doesn't have to show up. So it comes out like this. Mamish Hafla Fella, I want to say like this. What's the chariot of Hashem? Either the 4 Malachim or the Tzaddikim. Until this point in Parshas Lech Lecha, his name was Avram. So what is he? He's Reish Mem Gimel. He only has 3 of the Malachim, Raphael, Michael, Gabriel. He's not the chariot of God. But right here at this time, Hashem says, you got a new name. You know what your name is? Vayi Avram ben Tishim Shana. Vayeira Hashem al Avram Vayeira Kel Shakai. And Vayeira Kim al Avram. 1 second. Where did he go? V'lo Yikarei Shemcha Avram. Don't be Reish Mem Gimel anymore. Vayishemcha Avram. Now you're 248. Now you're not just Raphael, Michal, Gabriel. Now you're all 4. Now Vayal Elokim al Avram. Now that Avram Avinu is able to fulfill all 4 of them, So it says Rashi, Lamadnu shetzadikim merkavtoi shamakim. Until now, he wasn't on the madrega to be merkavtoi shamakim because he's only 243. He only has 3 of the Malachi Asharis. Now that he was mashlim the role of Uriel as well, and as we see, Uriel doesn't even have to show up that day. Now Rashi points out half of a fella at this juncture. Lamadnu shetzadikim merkavtoi shamakim. Why? Because what's the merkava of Hashem? Merkavtoi argaman Uriel, Raphael, Gabriel, Michael, and Uriel. Now, interesting. Let's try to understand why Uriel has such prime real estate. Why does he get to go before the Ribono Shel Olam? So it's very interesting that there's a Zohar, and we'll come to in a minute. You know, some people have at home this little pamphlet that's supposed to be segula. It's like this very mystical little booklet, and you keep it in the baby's room. What do they call it? Raziel HaMalach. Who's Raziel? So now we're meeting a lot of Malachim today. You say, what do they do? Where are they? I have no idea. I'm just reporting the facts to you. There's Uriel, he's in the front. There's Michael on the right side, and Gabriel on the left side, and Raphael in the back. And we said Uriel and Uriel are same. Raziel and Uriel also have the same gematria, 248. They're also the same person. What? And the Malach Uriel and the Malach Rizael is the Malach of Chesed, who's the agent through which the Torah is given. He's appointed on the secrets of the Torah. He is Goli Amikta Umistatra. And it is about him that we say Kol Razloi Anaslach. In other words, the Malach Uriel, the Malach Rizal, is the Malach most connected with the giving of the Torah. And it's suggested then, that is why he has such prime real estate. Because of all the Malachi Asharis, he has the most important job. And that is, it is through his aegis that the Torah is given. So that's the Malach Uriel, the Malach Nuriel, and the Malach Raziel. In fact, if you look at number 23, there's another Zohar that says that why was the Torah given in the 3rd month? That's the month of the Malach Uriel. That's the Malach of that's the Mazel of Ta'imim. Ta'imim referring to the Torah Shabbat and the Torah Shabbat Peh. So that's the Malach that is Mamuna ala Torah. So Mar Rabbi Sai, it comes out an amazing thing. That until this point in time, Avram Avinu did not have the capability of fulfilling this tafkid of Uriel, of this tafkid of giving the Torah. And the simple reason is, why wasn't he able to fulfill this tafkid? Because he didn't have a bris milah. And without bris milah, a person can't understand Torah. A person doesn't have a connection to Torah. The connection a person has to Torah is only through bris milah. Right? There's a famous story, if you look at number 19, that Unclus the Ger was the son of the sister of Andaryonos Kezar. Right? So he was Andaryonos' nephew. And Unclus wanted to convert, and he was afraid of his uncle. So he goes to his uncle, he says, Unc, I want to go into business. So his uncle said, let me give you a piece of advice. Look for something that's low, that has good, potential. So what does he do? He goes out, and he goes to the Chachamim, and he asked them to teach him Torah. And they said, no, you can't learn Torah until you have a milah. So he went, he got a milah, and he learned Torah. So Rabbi Glatstein and Rabbi Shua found him, and they saw he was a different person. And they said, how could you learn Torah? And he said, well, now I have a bris milah. So he goes back to Andaryonos, and he says, you look different. What happened? Uncle says, of course I look different. I learned Torah. Not only that, I had a milah. So Andaryonos says, who gave you that crazy idea to learn Torah? He said, you did. You told me look for an investment that's down and out, that has great potential. So I did. There's no nation that's as shafal as Klal Yisrael, but ultimately they're going to rule over the world, and therefore I followed your advice and I converted. So he said, you should have just learned Torah. Why do you have to have a milah? No. He said, you can't learn Torah without a milah. Shenemar, magid dvarav liYaakov, chukav v'shtav liYisrael, only to someone who is mahol, like Yaakov Avinu, who is noled mahol. Lo yasa chen l'chol goy mishpatim bal yidavim. Bal stands for the letter Beis, which is the beginning of the Torah, and the letter Lamed, that's at the end of the Torah. From this Chazal, from this Tosfos, we see that without bris milah, a person's not capable of understanding the Torah. Mamela, Avram Avinu, before this juncture, maybe he had the Madrega of 243, Rafal Michal Gavriel, but he didn't have a connection to the Torah yet, because he didn't have the bris milah. Now that he has the bris milah and he has the ois hey, which gets him to 248, now he's able to fulfill the role of Uriel. But let me speak out one divrei Chazal and we'll wrap it all together. And that is, when Hashem came to give the Torah to Klal Yisrael, the Malachei Hasharis wanted to injure Moshe. Look at number 22. So what did the Rebbeinu Shalom do? He configured the face of Moshe to look like Abraham. And Hashem said to Malachim, "You're not embarrassed from this guy Abraham? Didn't you go to his house and you ate by him?" Says Hashem to Moshe, the Torah was only given in the zchus of Abraham. Shenemar lakachta matanois ba'adam ve'in adam ha'amar kan el Avram. Shenemar, it says in Yeshua, ha'adam hagadol ba'anakim. In other words, when it came time to give the Torah to Moshe Rabbeinu, Hashem had a problem, and that is the Malachei Hasharis tried to interfere with the giving of the Torah. Malachei Hasharis tried to injure Moshe, so Hashem reconfigured Moshe's face to look like Abraham, and Hashem says, Malachei Hasharis, he's your host. You gotta have respect for him. In fact, there are many other divrei Chazal that Hashem said, look, you can't get the Torah Malachim. When you went to Abraham Avinu's house, you ate V'el Habaka Ratz Abraham, right? Vayikach ben Vayikach Chema v'cholav. So you had milk, you had meat. You're not nizar and basar b'cholav. You don't know how to follow the halachas. You can't get the Torah. So in other words, who is responsible for us getting the Torah? Avraham Avinu. He did us a big favor. He was like machshel the malachim. He gave them some milk. He made sure they didn't wash their hands in between. He gave them meat, and he made them be nechshel. And now, when Moshe Rabbeinu comes to get the Torah, Hashem says, no, you can't get the Torah. You already ate milk and meat in Abraham's house. So again, we see that who's responsible for us getting the Torah? Avraham Avinu. So that's why Avraham Avinu is taking the place of the Malach Uriel. A Malach Uriel is the Malach Hamamuna ala Torah, and Avraham Avinu is taking his place. But I was bothered. So ultimately, how did we get the Torah? Because Avraham Avinu was machshel the malachim in basar b'chalav. So just think about it for a moment. In what year did we get the Torah? 2448. And in what year did Avraham Avinu feed the malachim this milk and meat? Well, Avraham Avinu was born in 1948. And Avraham Avinu is 99 years old, so this is the year 2047. So it's 401 years before the Torah was given. Like, why was it so important to make sure that the Malachim eat, a cheeseburger 401 years before the Torah was given? You want to make sure that Klal Yisrael get the Torah, so then when we leave Mitzrayim, Moshe Rabbeinu could invite the Malachim for lunch, and he could serve them pizza and pepperoni, and the Malachim will eat the basar v'chalav, and then give them the Torah. Like, why does it have to be set up 401 years in advance? In the tefillah that the Shlach HaKadosh composed, that he composed it for Erev Rosh Chodesh Sivan, and it's a tefillah to daven for children, Yirei Shamayim. So he begins his tefillah that Hashem gave 2 mitzvahs, and the tachlis of both mitzvahs are the same. There's a mitzvah of pruruvu, and there's a mitzvah of v'limadatem oisam esbenechem. There's a mitzvah to have children, and there's a mitzvah to teach them Torah. And the tachlis of the 2 mitzvahs are one, to produce generations that are God-fearing, observant Jews. It's not, there's a mitzvah to have children, and there's a mitzvah to teach Torah. No, it's one mitzvah. That's why, it says, Bereshis bara Elokim. And Rashi brings down 2 drashos. Bereshis bara Elokim. In the beginning, God created. Bishvil Yisrael shenikra reishis, and Bishvil Torah shenikra reishis. Which one is it? Is it Bishvil Yisrael or is it Bishvil Torah? The answer is, it's Bishvil Yisrael sheyiu laimdei Torah. It's one thing. The purpose of creation is that there should be generations who are laimdei Torah. Memela, at this juncture in time, on this day, Avraham Avinu is getting the best message you could ever get. You know what the message is? The Malachim come to Avram and say, in 1 year, you're going to have Yitzchak, there will be a Klal Yisrael. So Avram Avinu thinks to himself, Yeshkayach, what's the tachlis of a Klal Yisrael if we can't secure the Torah? So at the very same moment that Avram Avinu gets this Basura, that there's a Yitzchak, that there's a continuity, that there's a Yisrael, so Avram Avinu is already setting the stage to secure that it's not just Bishvil Yisrael Shenikar, but it's also Bishvil Torah Shenikar. That Klal Yisrael has a continuity through the Torah. And it's at this moment in time that Avram Avinu is fulfilling the role of Uriel to secure the Torah for Klal Yisrael. Until this day he was Reish Mem Gimel, he had the capacity of the 3 Malachi Asharos, but now he's 248, now he has the Milah, now he could fulfill even the role of Uriel, and now he becomes the Merkava of the Shechina. Just to give you a little bit of a taste and a flavor for some of the secrets that are taking place in Parshas Vayeira, Boisai, Agun Shabbos.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.